Hello, it's Rachel. Today's project is for the 6x6 challenge over on my Facebook group. There's a link to that in the video description. And the theme this week is Halloween. I've taken my 6x6 piece of smooth white cardstock and I've used a circle mask which I cut from a Spellbinders die to mask out an area which is going to represent a moon. I'm then taking two different shades of Distress ink in Stormy Sky and Dusty Concord, and I'm using these with a piece of Ranger cut and dry foam to create my background. Next, I'm taking a stamp of a tree by Lavinia. I'm inking this up using some VersaFine ink in Onyx Black, and this is the first time I've used this stamp, so when I initially ink it I realised that some areas on the background have ink on them, so in order that that doesn't transfer to my card I'm just using a pair of scissors here to trim the excess polymer, and I just thought that might have been useful to show some people. It's a very easy thing to do and it won't damage your stamp as long as you're careful. Next, I'm going to add some ground to the piece. So I've just torn a piece of paper for this and I'm going to sponge underneath it using the same colour inks as I've used on the background, although because they're going over the top of the ink that's already laid down, it's going to appear darker and create some grounding for the tree and other elements that I'm going to add later. Now I'm using a stamp by Oxford Impressions of a gravestone, again stamping using VersaFine ink in Onyx Black, but this time stamping onto some lightweight cardstock so that I can cut these elements out and they won't be affected by the background colour. I'm using here some golden matte medium to adhere the tombstones onto my piece, and because this is a liquid adhesive I'm trying to be quite careful with it so that I don't disturb the Distress ink colours underneath. In hindsight it might have been better to pick up a solid glue like a Pritt stick or something like that for this purpose. To create some grounds around the tombstones, I first need to mask them out. So I'm just using the ink that was left on the stamp to create 2 masks, and then I can move these around as needed. I create the ground in the same way that I did around the tree, so I'm just extending onto this using the same colours of distress ink. This is another stamp by Oxford Impressions, this time of a bat. I'm using a stamp positioner to stamp this with, so I'm going to locate it exactly where I'd like it to be on the design. And again, I'm using VersaFine ink in Onyx Black to stamp with. At this point I decided the design did look a little bit bare in places, so I wanted to add some grasses around the tombstones. I start by stamping this using the Stormy Sky Distress ink, however this is quite faint, so I switched to an archival ink in Cobalt Blue. Once I've stamped the grasses, I also use this direct to page around the outside of the piece. To add some more interest to the piece, I've picked up this stamp set by Lavinia of some little bugs, and I've selected 2 of the spiders which I'm going to stamp on the floor, and also one crawling down from the tree onto one of the tombstones. At this point I decided that the tree and the tombstones needed a little bit more grounding, so I've chosen to use a Posca paint pen just to add some shadowing underneath these elements. As a final step on today's project, I've chosen another stamp from Oxford Impressions. This time it's a text stamp, which I stamp onto some lightweight cardstock before cutting it out with a paper trimmer and edging it with some distress ink in Stormy Sky. I then attach it to my project using a Pritt stick. that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. It has been a little while since I uploaded a video. Unfortunately, I've had some computer problems which are ongoing thanks to a Windows update that became corrupted. However, if you're seeing this, then I've managed to get my computer to work, and hopefully I should be able to upload a little more regularly from this time forward. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.